You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday, 20th day of May, 2019. We're almost halfway through this year. Go figure, right? All right. Hey, welcome to the show. So glad you're here. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad that you're right here, right now. Thanks for joining. Have a chart up of the S&P 500 E-mini Futures. If you cannot see the chart, you could go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side of the page, you could click that big microphone. You could follow the instructions. You can be registered within 30 seconds, and you shall have one-click access to this show each and every day. That's a good deal, right? An even better deal. Some days you're going to be away from the office, away from the desktop. Who knows, man? You might even go on a little tiny vacation south of the border or some other place. And you think, wow, I wish I would. Stop wishing. It's here. Go to youtube.com/CFRN/live during the live broadcast, and there you will find a live, real-time simulcast of this very program, brought to you by the good folks at YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. Okay, let's talk about this chart for just a half second. You see that yellow line across the middle of the chart? That's a weekly trading zone from last week? Nope. Week before? Yep. Now look at this. I always tell you, important prices, important areas, almost always tested. That I also tell you, take note if you're not a partner or a passport holder, folks who get their weekly trading zones every Monday morning in their inbox, 6:15 a.m. Eastern, before Wall Street even wakes up. If you're not in that select group yet, but you're working towards it, when I release the zones to the general community on Thursdays, jot them down, because there's a very good possibility on Sunday night, Globex Open, Monday, Tuesday, into the next week, they could be very valuable to you. All right. So this zone, 2 weeks old. Let's back it up. Back it up. In fact, hang on. Still checking. 2854, 55. Okay. Now this would have been on the week of 5, 10. Okay, it would have been May 3rd. Yeah, on May 3rd, the lowest weekly trading zone for that week was, you guessed it, 2854/55. So if that was the week of the 3rd, let's back it up. Okay. All right, remember we had that huge gap lower open. Down we come. And it was on May 9th, 6 days later, that we broke through that zone. Stay with me. Got back above it. And we bounced. And we bounced. Dropped to the zone below in a new week, came back. Gapped lower on this Sunday night, right into that zone. Now at this point, it's the previous week's zone. Okay. So we consolidate for many, many hours there. Break below, pull back up, confirm good resistance. Down we go. And what do? We pull right back up to that zone. Begin to move down, pull right back up to that zone. And then what do? Consolidate, consolidate, break, pull right back to it, right back again. And look where we bounced this morning. Or, yeah, no, Friday, I'm sorry. On Friday, consolidation and the bounce. This morning, right after the London Open, we come right down to the zone, that old zone, 2855. We bounce up to 2861, 6-point bounce. Slice through it, hit this zone from last week, bounce right back up to the zone. Start a leg, pulling back now to confirm good resistance. Now, does that happen every week with every zone? No. Does it happen? It does. I mean, we're looking at it, okay? Now, rhetorical question. The more times that price respects this area, whether it bounces from it, is rejected from it, consolidates at it, does that make it an even more important area, important price? Well, yeah. Because as long as we keep pulling up to it or pulling down to it and respecting it, it's kind of like refreshing it. Well, that's probably good for another session at least. Certainly the remainder of this session, maybe another session, maybe two. Okay? So if you take your own charts, put that zone on there and just go back and look to the tick. Maybe to the tick. Hours of consolidation, right at it. Now you might say, well, okay, well, how do I know that's going to happen? Well, you don't. That's why we don't take so-called preemptive action. We don't go and just park orders because we think that's going to happen. No. We take a uniquely different approach. We wait to see it happen. Because once it happens, well, now we got something we can work with. We got something real. It's not a thought. It's not a clever idea. It's not a hypothesis. It's what's in front of you. And that's something we've told you from day one. Trade what's in front of you. Okay? All right. I think Michael's got someplace to be, so let me give the numbers real quick, and then he can come and give us a recap of the live trading room, and then I'll be back. Let's see. The Dow cash market currently down 36 points. NASDAQ down 71. S&P down 8. Russell 2000 down 7. No movers, no shakers. Well, no, I take that back. The NASDAQ down almost 1%. In the commodity basket, crude oil up 30 cents today, trading 63.06 last. Gold up 70 cents. We'll take it, trading 1276.40 last. In the Asian markets, at the close, the Nikkei gained 51 points. The Shanghai lost 11. And the Hang Seng dropped 158. No movers, no shakers. Last but not least, in the European markets, the FTSE at the close was down 37 points. The DAX was down 197. That's a mover and a shaker, 1.5%. The CAC lost 79 points, and for the CAC, that's also a drop of 1.5%. That makes it a mixed day in the Asian markets, a red day in the UK, and so far, it's a big red Radio Monday here in the US of A. See a question in the chat box. Crazy question. With the 54-55 zone being so strong, should it be a zone this week as well? That is a great question, Tim, and the answer is no. I'll go into some details when I come back. Just remind me, okay? And we will definitely talk about that. Michael, are you ready?
I am ready.
He's always ready.
I am ready. And Tim, I mean, the 53-54 zone is like 1 point away from what Dwayne's got highlighted there. I'm sorry, 54-55.
Yeah, 54. Yeah, that's the one he's referring to. And we don't have a zone in that immediate neighborhood this week. But we'll talk about it when I come back. I don't want to hold Michael up. I'm not sure how how short of a leash he's on today, as they say. But
okay, well here, let's bring it over here.
How short is your leash?
All the way over into North Carolina. It's not that short.
I don't know if you got to be at a webinar or a class or anything.
Well, I do have that going on, and I have a phone call I got to make too.
Okay. And guys, Michael will be out, is it Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yep. He'll be out. Okay.
I will be out on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, the live training room will be a little bit of a different adventure. It'll be myself, it'll be Valerie, and hopefully Bert will be able to pop in and drop in and share some of his thoughts with us. But I promise you, we'll have a good time and you'll learn something. So be there or be square. And Michael will tell you how to take our trial.
I will. And on the only time I'm ever out is when I go to court.
Oh, I know. Yeah, absolutely.
And sadly, I have to do that once this week and once next week. But
I had a work ethic like that when I was a young man. So enjoy it while you can. Hey, have you ever sprained your ankle?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I got hit by a horseshoe once.
Whoa, that's rude. Well, let me ask you this: were you then instructed to elevate your foot?
Elevate it and put ice on it.
Mm-hmm.
and alternate.
Let me probe a little further. As you were sitting there enjoying having your foot elevated, time passed, perhaps you napped, perhaps you bent your other leg in some kind of a funny fashion to accommodate the propping up of the one leg, and then that leg fell asleep. Did that ever happen to you?
Well, my legs falling asleep and being propped in strange positions is not uncommon.
Not uncommon.
I mean,
you see, folks, he said not uncommon.
Yes.
Because imagine this, a fellow sprains his ankle, he props up his foot, he spends quite a bit of time, perhaps takes a nap, the other foot falls asleep, but because he's been asleep, he doesn't realize the foot's asleep, so he stands up, and guess what he's not got now?
He's got no legs.
He got 2 sprained ankles. I hit the floor like a sack of flour. My wife pops up out of bed, and she goes, "What happened?" I go, "I'm too embarrassed to even tell you." So,
oh, that's
anyway,
bad news.
Yeah.
So you got 2 sprained ankles.
I got 2 sprained ankles, so.
So you need a walker. That's what you need.
Well, it's not real bad, so I think I'm going to survive. So far, I
was
haven't
going to
had
say you need a cane, but a cane's only got one bad side.
Well,
but
a cane.
Walker wing.
The thing with a cane is you could look pretty dapper.
Yeah.
Know? I mean, I could with my fedora from sometimes I wear fedora.com and my cane. Some folks might say he's pretty fly for an old guy. I don't know. You be the judge. All right, I'll be back when you're done.
Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. So you guys see my screens right now. You see my charts. Let me bring up this right here. There we go. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 20th day of May, 2019. Here on my screen, what you see is the homepage of CFRN.net. And if you have not taken a free trial with us, well, you simply need to go to the homepage at CFRN.net. And right over here in the right-hand column, it says 5-day free trial, apply.cfrn.net. Click on that, and we'll be brought to this page. On this page, you just have to fill out this right here. All we need is your name, your email, your phone number. Hit the send button. Once you hit that send button, you'll be sent all the information you need. All the information you need to get into our free trial. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go back here. Now, the spreadsheet. If you're going to look at the spreadsheet, you're going to look at all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today, as I said, is the 20th day of May, 2019. Today, we lost 8 ticks on the crude, and we made 15 ticks on the ES. That put us at plus 107.50. Today took 111 minutes and 7 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $107.50, and we took 7 trades today. Okay, so on the month now, we're up $2,235. That's over 14 days, averaging $159 per day. So this is, oh no, it's not our best month yet. Almost, it's pretty close, but we still have, a bunch of time left to make it our best month. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days left to the month. We have a holiday weekend coming up, so it's going to be a long weekend. On the year, though, we're at $10,775 over 88 days, averaging $122 per day. That is one contract, 2 hours per day. Okay. So let's take a look. The markets were horrible today. Horrible. And I said that during the break, markets will probably start moving during the break. And they did. I mean, look at gold. Right here is where we started out. Didn't have any trade setups. No trade setups. No trade setups. Nothing. Then the break, and then a perfect trade setup right there. Bang. Perfect trade setup. As it is, we had nothing on gold, and the euro is even worse. I was looking at going from candle to candle this morning on the euro, and sometimes there's 10 minutes between candles because these are range bars. So there is no time element associated with each candle. And some of them are 2 minutes, some of them are 1 minute, but a lot of them are 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And that's how it was this morning. During the break, there was no opportunity here. We got the same leg down here that gold had, but it didn't give us a trade opportunity. Gold did. Now, if you're doing the stuff that we teach in the other trades, the stuff that we don't do in the room, there was a trade opportunity right here. Okay. Crude oil. And crude is normally my best and favorite market. Oops. One of those on. It's my best and favorite market. It's usually really good. This morning, though, we started out with a stop out here on crude, -8 ticks. Then we got a break even here, and then it just chopped sideways for a long time. And then it started moving. Now, using the trade setups that we do in the room, there were no trade opportunities in here. But using the other trade setups that I teach you, well, now on Fridays, for right now anyway, there was a long opportunity here and there and there, and a short opportunity here and here and here. This one didn't work out though, but that was during the break. But we had just those couple of trades there in the morning session, and during the break, crude really didn't give up anything. The markets, I don't know why they're so slow today. I mean, there's no news today, and there's really not much news tomorrow either. So we'll have to just wait and see how things go. All right. So the ES today was our hero. And we missed a couple of really nice trades on the ES. When it comes up, I'll show you. Okay. So the markets opened up and it started running up off of the weekly trading zone. Then we had a shorting opportunity right here. That would have been the goal for the day easy. We had another shorting opportunity here. That would have gotten a goal for the day. Then we had a momentum break-even trade right here. We picked up a couple of ticks here and missed that. Picked up a couple more there to put us at +4. Missed that. Picked up 5 here to put us at +9. 4 more here to put us at +13. And then 2 more here to put us at +15 on the morning session. So oddly, I gotta stop saying that, because the ES has been moving around a lot lately. It's been way more active than the euro. I'll say that. And when I look at the spreadsheet again in a minute, I'll show you, illustrate the difference. Now, during the break, there was a shorting opportunity here that would have been a break even. Here, that might have given you some profit. And here, that would have given you profit. And right now, you would not be in a trade. And that was the ES this morning. Yeah, so let's go back here to this. And what I was talking about is, look at this right here, $1,187 on the ES. Now, crude oil is normally our largest gainer, but we're only at 510 on crude this month, and the ES is killing it. We're at 300 on gold, 237 on the euro, and yeah, we haven't traded those other markets, not in the room anyway. We haven't traded those other markets, but on the month now, we're at 2,235 over 14 days, averaging 159 per day. On the year, we're at 10,775. On the year, we're at 10,775. That's over 88 days, averaging 122 per day. 122 per day. Okay. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the homepage at CFRN.net. Right over here in the right-hand column, this is 5-day free trial. Apply.cfrn.net. If you click on that, you'll be brought to this page. On this page, all we ask for is your email. It's right down here. Your name, your email, your phone number, and your biggest challenge if you want to fill that out. And hit send. Once you hit send, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay? You must click on the confirmation link. If you don't click that link, then, well, we don't know you took the free trial. All right? All right. And with that, I don't see any new questions coming in. So we'll pass it back out to Phoenix, Arizona. Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
Why, yes, I am. Recap of the recap.
Today it took 111 minutes and 7 trades to get to the goal for the day. And at that point, we were up $107.50.
That is a good bingo. Bingo. All right. Well, anything you want to add or say before you depart?
Well, we'll say prayers for those guys that died in that plane crash in Honduras. That,
because I was on the road and I've been so busy this morning, I haven't looked at the news all weekend.
Well, it was a small plane crash. I mean, there were 5 people that died, but 3 of them worked with Jada.
Oh, really? Well, tell her I'm very sorry for her loss. Was it pilot error, mechanical error?
They don't know.
They don't know?
They don't know.
Ooh.
It was in Honduras. And the guy that was flying the plane was a Canadian guy. And he was building a resort down there. And, yeah. I don't know. And, there were platform leaders from different locations. One was from New York, one was from New Jersey, and one was from, Mid-Atlantic is what they called it. And they were all board members in her company. And her boss, I guess her boss's boss.
They were all board members? How many people on the board?
Yeah. There were 5, including the pilot. They all died. And
how will that affect the company? Not that that's what's important, but how will that affect the company going forward?
I don't know. I mean, it's fortunately, Jada's part of it. Her boss was supposed to be on the plane. Mm-hmm. And he said he wasn't going to get on a puddle jumper. And he didn't. And he said, all you guys being on the plane, all at once like that probably shouldn't happen, because if it goes down, then you're all gone. And of course, you never think it's going to happen.
Right.
But it did. And so those 3 went down. And just prayers for their families.
Absolutely.
They're on the other side now. So we'll pray for their families.
Yeah. Okay, guys, Michael's going to dash. If you have any questions for him, you might type them in real quick. Otherwise, we'll proceed. I called John. I think he was on the other line, so I'm assuming he'll pop in at some point. Val will keep an eye on the chat box there to see him make his grand entrance when he does.
I will indeed.
And your Tuesday meeting is now officially the Friday meeting.
It is now. I'm just calling it other trades because, we'll make it a Friday meeting for now. And this week, this week is all messed up for me. And next week, I'm going to be in Boston on Friday.
Okay.
In court. So,
we got it. We'll hold down the fort. God willing, it'll still be here when you get back.
God willing. God willing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, folks, back. Let me direct your attention here as we go sideways to see if John's going to pop in. Take a look at this 30-minute chart. So I'm going to draw a little trend line up here. And we'll start there. Okay, I'm going to highlight it. Control C. Control V. That gives me a trend line with an identical angle. And that's what's important, is that angle. Okay, now if we go there, we can see we've already broke through that. We've also popped back inside of it. Okay. We could widen the channel, and then we have no lower point of contact yet, but it could be on the way. And so this is where, when folks are starting to draw trend lines and just kind of be amazed by the I don't know what you want to call it, the geometry built into the you got a label for that there, Mike?
I do not have a label. It's symmetry. Symmetry is what you would call it.
There you go. That's the word. So if we put it there, because we got a point of contact there, and then let's extend this with a double click and go from finite to ray. So now we'll be able to see price come back down and potentially touch the bottom of this trend line. Now we got this other line coming in here from somewhere. Where might that be? Let's do some scrunching. In fact, let's go back all the way to the 12th of the month, where we started a little thing here with higher highs and lower lows that we call the bugle, the megaphone, whatever number you want to give it, or whatever name you want to give it. And we've walked the top, and we've hit the bottom, we've spiked, popped back in, we've done a lot of things. Now follow that line, follow it, follow it, follow it, and right here today, what did we do? We came right back to the bottom. Now we got below it, well below it, but then we popped back in it, and now we're sitting like just right at the lower trend line. Okay, now is on here.
Yeah.
Okay. Now does that create any major significance for today? Well, for now, I just want you to be aware of it. We spiked below it, back above it, and now look what we're doing. We're consolidating at it. Between that and this 2854/55 zone that just won't seem to go away. So is all of this important? Plus the new channel I just identified right here. We're back inside of that. Yeah. Okay, John, welcome to the show. Let me open your mic. There you go.
Yeah, I got it.
John, how are you? I'll jingle his phone because we gotta move along.
All right.
All right. Buddy.
Okay, I'm gonna jump.
You got it. All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Yep.
Okay. All right. I see you're logged in, John. You ready to go? I guess. I think that is a yes. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right then. Guys, I got some alerts, both Logic 247 and Concierge, that we're going to go over today during this broadcast, so don't run off. It's important. Good stuff. Good stuff happening. But we want to talk to John, get his take on the world at large. Are you there, John?
Thanks.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, this, what, as you probably know, we opened higher last night. And, we closed right down in the lows on Friday. And that's the weakest Friday we've had in some time. And, for some reason, the market popped a bit higher early last night. And then it turned down. I had a feeling it was going to turn down during the night. And sure enough, it not only turned down, but it sold off pretty sharply. And
I went looking for news, John, and I didn't find any. I was watching this when it happened. I didn't. Did you tie it into anything?
it might have been up a little bit on Trump's comments, and then later on it kind of petered out. So
because we were hour and a half into the London session when it happened. It would have been, I would have expected a little more to happen right at the open. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So, and then something just, so, and really the stocks are down pretty sharply this morning. Now, we talked about this last week where we had a couple of dips and rebounds, and that potentially set the market up for a rally. But we did point out that if these dips were taken out or threatened, that would not be good. And moreover, we also talked about that if rolled over from here, it's really looking pretty bad. And you can see the sort of gap. If you look at the daily that you had on a minute ago, you can see there's a kind of a little island top.
I'll go back now. Could this be an island? What would you call this right here, John?
Well, it's kind of a potential. It's gap down. So if there's a sell-off later on this afternoon, now you see this thing with the doji there and the gap lower today, is a bit of a problem. If we start printing lower, if we start breaking down.
Right.
FedEx, everything is down. I mean, the drugs are down very badly today. Google, pretty much everything's down except maybe Twitter, and Facebook. Facebook's down pretty sharply. Amazon. So can they recover from here? They may do, because if they can prevent. If we can sort of get our feet this afternoon and maybe close a bit better, you could be setting up for a strong Tuesday. Because in spite of these tariffs and in spite of all the anxiety, the market doesn't seem to give up too much, after the initial shock. And, I think one of the reasons why the market sold off is because there were no scheduled talks. Maybe you never know. Are they talking in private? Are they just doing things a little bit more discreetly now? Maybe they are, because maybe the Chinese don't want to make it too public. That's possibly one of the reasons why the whole thing fell apart. It was too much, too much anticipation and too much in the news about it, and they're not used to being lambasted every day by Twitter, and so it's there are all these factors. But it's interesting how the whole world sort of is against China now, in one form or another, for all the things they've been up to, and they're the Chinese market's even lower now. It's really looking pretty in big trouble. The other thing that's going on is the yuan is almost in a free fall. Interestingly enough, we're at a little double bottom today on the FXI, the Chinese index, which might.
John, you mentioned FedEx. What about this Dow Jones transportation average? I know there's been a leading indicator for years.
It's hang on a second. It's actually it's not looking too bad.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The fact that FedEx is down, but the average here doesn't look horrible. I've seen worse.
Yeah. And remember, there's the rail component that's doing really well. That's helped keeping it up, and the airlines aren't doing too badly either. But BABA, for example, that's down very, very sharply today.
What's the symbol?
BABA. And Baidu is down drastically as well, So it really is. I mean, Baidu is down to 2015 lows today. That's a spectacular drop. Tesla's another thing that's in big trouble. It wasn't so long ago it was at 350. Now it's at 200. The semiconductors I mean, remember, they were not so long ago. We were at 200. We're back at 123. It's
Wow, look at that gap lower on the socks.
yeah.
And it looks like it's falling through this support here, so we may see this level right. Oh, it looks resistance, support.
Yeah. So you know, I mean, that's the thing. If we roll over from here, you know, we're in a lot of trouble. So, and even the you know, that Tilray, that marijuana, I thought it was going to rally a while back. It did have a bounce, but it's making new lows again today.
I like this canopy much better than Tilray.
Yeah, no, I think this Tilray just got overdone, and it's suffering the consequences of going parabolic right now. And
it suffered from irrational exuberance.
Yeah, right. You got that right. And the whole sector is you know, going through a corrective phase, and they tend to last a while. You know, it's kind of like Bitcoin. Oh, by the way, one of the reasons why Bitcoin shot up that nobody really has put out there is the Chinese. It's another way of people getting their money out of China.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So as the yuan dropped down, they've been buying Bitcoin, and that's the reason why it went up so dramatically.
Now, I should caution everyone. Jamie Dimon is, I think, pulling one of his shenanigans again. We all know that he was out on the street calling Bitcoin a fraud while his traders were inside buying the dip he was creating with his words. He came out with a statement today. Strategists from JP Morgan Chase have argued that the Bitcoin recent rally has soared past what they calculate to be its intrinsic value. The analysis reported by Bloomberg. To ascertain the coin's intrinsic value, they reportedly analyzed Bitcoin as a commodity and calculated its cost of production based on all kinds of parameters and whatnot. But it sounds a bit to me like Jamie is trying to talk down the price of Bitcoin once again so that his traders can swoop in and buy it on the cheap. I could be wrong, but that just seems to be the way he does business. He doesn't care if it's right or wrong because he's got enough money to pay the fine, whatever it is. He just can't cross the line and do something that would land him in jail.
Did you see the report on 60 Minutes last night on the Bitcoin?
No, but I heard it was on, and I look forward to watching it this afternoon. What did you think about it?
I thought it was pretty interesting. I mean, it showed there's a guy who was one of the earliest Bitcoiners around, and he was paying like 10,000 Bitcoin for a pizza back in the days when it was like worth nothing. And when they took all the purchases he made, if he kept the Bitcoin and just used cash, he'd be worth about 800 million today.
Wow.
So,
and I believe that first pizza bought with Bitcoin, I think it was done at a Papa John's.
It could have been, yeah.
I'm not positive. If somebody in the audience knows, correct me on that.
So, I mean, it certainly was a wild ride, and it's interesting that it's coming back and having a second life here. And this is the thing. It's when Bitcoin goes, there's always, it's just. I mean, there's the institutional element getting involved now. That's one of the reasons why it's.
This is an interesting daily chart here. This thing could be about to just rip out of here.
The Chinese. I think the China factor is very big, and then there's I didn't see, unfortunately, didn't see the whole thing on the first segment, which is about this 235 billion money laundering supposedly from Russia, and that's another whole thing that is is another. This has certainly given a whole new lease on life to Bitcoin, and there was one analyst who came on and she said, look, Bitcoin could it's still not a certainty. It could flame out and end up as nothing, or especially if the governments of the world, want that to happen, or it's
Yeah,
going
but
to
you
be
got more
here.
and more states, John. Arizona, you can pay certain taxes here in Arizona with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Ohio, I believe it is, accepts Bitcoin for 22 different types of taxes.
Yeah, that's pretty big. Yeah,
When
and
these
of
states
course,
start putting their seal of approval, and some
yeah.
foreign countries and some banks, I don't know.
And then there's this, and then the ransom, So really, what really got this rally going was, first of all, it had a great base. Look at the base that built, bottomed out. That
Look at that.
certainly projected the
Is
price
this a cup
higher.
and handle,
And,
John? I'm not a pattern
yeah, it
recognition
is.
guy.
I mean, we if we sort of said it could go to about 6.5, 7,000. It went a bit higher. We thought it would get back to that 6.5. See, another factor behind the bigger than actually the way the way the markets are looking here, Dwayne.
Look at this, John. Look at this right here. Baltimore city government has been under siege for well over a week after being hit with a ransomware attack earlier this month, as officials refused to pay a Bitcoin ransom demanded by the hijackers. Real estate deals in the city have been halted. Is it all real estate? Real estate agents and title companies say the ransomware attack in Baltimore City has put a full stop on the home buying and selling market during one of its busiest months. Nothing is getting done. No closings, no titles, nothing. Hundreds of people are in limbo. Man, I mean, if they can paralyze the real estate market, I hate to think of what else to be around the corner.
Yeah, that guy, see on the right hand side, it says billionaire Novogratz. He was a big, he got a lot of TV time about a year ago, and I think he lost maybe somewhere between 130 or 230 million or something.
He is pretty smart guy. I'm not saying he's got this right.
He's probably made a lot of it back now that it's rallied up.
Is he the guy that used to work for Goldman Sachs?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, it's not okay.
So that's about it for today. There's really we'll just have to see what happens with whether we're going to recover from this, or whether I think if we break down tomorrow and we have a bad Tuesday, it's not going to be a good week, and we could be in for. It's we're getting towards the end of May now. We got the next bottom could be mid-June if we don't rally into the end of the month. Could still rally into the end of the month. The VIXs, by the way, are kind of poised for some more upside here. So
can you see my screen?
Yeah.
This was the beginning of the journey that we were on this weekend, down to Puerto Penasco, waiting in the line. Oh, you can't hear it. It's got the loudspeaker on top. You know what the guy. Welcome to Mexico. Here's the church that we've been a part of building down there. There's a little bus. This is a training center. And then we prayed and said, let's see what God can do here. And so 20 years later, we're back having a big celebration with lots of people, seeing what God did.
It's quite a show. Yeah.
Stand right there. He's an old bull rider from Oklahoma. Him and his wife came to Puerto Penasco to be missionaries to Mexico. When we met them, they had just moved to Rocky Point. They had $700 in the bank. This was a complete walk of faith. And man, I've watched this. I'm not reading it in a book. I've seen it all unfold. I've been a part of it. And it's just incredible. Just incredible what God can do with someone's life if you're just willing. Hey, God, use me. Send me. I mean, we had probably 300 something people show up. All people that have been affected by this ministry, that have participated in it. It was a great. Some of these pictures I didn't mean to get uploaded, but anyway, I just want to give you a peek, and I'll give you a link. You can look at them later. I'm going to put them in a channel so you can have a look. In fact, I got a couple Telegram channels I want you to take a look at. So I'll send you a series of links. So I'm pretty sure you got access, right?
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, listen, thanks very much,
buddy.
Tom.
Take care.
Good for you. Well done.
All right.
Congratulations. Okay.
Thanks. Okay. And anyone who has access to the active member discussion group in Telegram, you can look at those pictures, and there was a few comments in there. I'm going to put them in a separate channel, and I think Val might move them over to our Instagram channel, which, by the way, folks, we would very much love to blow up on Instagram, as they say. So if you want to be a part of that, by all means, join us. Here's price. Back down to this current descending price channel that goes back to this doji on Thursday. From the top to the bottom, to the top, to the bottom. Back in, back to the bottom. So this thing looks heavy to the downside. Coming into the session today, the natural flow for this market was sideways to up. But I gave the guys in the channel, guys and ladies, I gave the traders in the channel last night a number, and I said if we trade below this number, then our narrative for a trend up, sideways to trend up day, that narrative will change. Not because we think it should, or there's rumors of some kind of thing, because of the price. Always remember, I get lots of questions about time frames because I know that we all get it in our head at some point. If there's a magical time frame, okay? Well, there isn't. The only magic in any time frame is a time frame that you've spent enough time with that you kind of flow with it, right? You've watched, and you know, for me, my default go-to is a 30-minute. Turn the clock back 5 years, watch some of the radio shows that are archived on YouTube, and you'll see me just as comfortable, just as fluid, flowing with a 1-hour chart. Wind the clock back another 5 to 7 years, thereabouts, and you'll see me just as comfortable, fluid and flowing with a 10,000 contract chart, which means you get a new candle not every 30 minutes, not every hour, but every time 10,000 S&P 500 Emini contracts exchange hands, get a new candle. And that one really throws a curve into the minds of folks who are not fluid, but who approach the market from kind of a different perspective. These would be your people who say, I only trade the S&P, which is fine. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, other than you are eliminating a lot of opportunities from your plate. I only trade a 30-minute chart. Okay. Certainly not breaking any laws there, but you are denying yourself the information that a 1 hour, a daily, and a 5-minute can give you as you're trying to determine what the next high probability move of the market is. Now, on every one of those charts I just mentioned, it looks different, okay? Right now, price is at 28.44 half. If I go to, now, picture this, go to 1 hour, looks different, but price is still 28.44 half. Or if I go to a 4 hour, that looks decidedly different. But the clock on the wall price still says price is 28.44. No matter what time frame you go to, well, you can't even see that one, but the clock on the wall is always price, and price is the same in every time frame. It just looks different. Now, that may not sound like some tremendous nugget. It's kind of like, oh, well, who don't know that, right? But let me just say it's really important, okay? And the reason we know price is the same in all time frames, the reason we look at the different time frames, why? To help us determine our narrative and what the next high probability thing is going to be. This morning, we had a good time. Let me just pull up the alerts and we'll walk through some of them from last night. I got in late, got started late, got the Concierge Trade Alerts out, and weekly trade. They were late, of course, but everyone knew that was going to happen. And then the weekly trading zones, of course, I did manage to get those out on time. And at one point, it was questionable if I was even going to get back because of this. Was when we got to the border. We got there a little late yesterday, and this is enhanced border security. We sat in that line for well over an hour. You can't even see the border. So, but we waited it out, and we got home. All right. So let's just bounce to the Concierge real quick on the ES. If you want to take a screenshot of the Concierge Trade Alerts, you can. I'm going to pull them up. They got out at 1:45 a.m. this morning. Consider being short at or below 28.65. And 28.65 was right here. Now, if you look at those trend lines on my chart, you might just see what prompted me to suggest such a thing. Can you see it? 28.65. Okay, now that's Concierge. So from 28.65, we dropped to that old zone below at 55. So 10-point move, basically in a 30-minute candle. Stand by. No, it's not. That's just an old zone, apparently, that I left on my chart. Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, how about... I got my book all turned around here. All this high-tech stuff, every toy a trader could hope for, perhaps. Screens on the wall, walls of screens, and I use a little journal to keep the zones in. Because if the place catches on fire, man, I'm going to be able to grab this and go, right? You can't lose this. All right, 37.38 was, in fact, a zone from last week. Okay, I thought it should be. That's why it's there. And then overhead, we had... was it supposed to be 68, 69? If that was last week. Yep, that was the last week zone 2. Okay. So, from 28.65, dropped to this old zone, and even if we didn't know there was an old zone there, let's say there wasn't an old zone there, as this comes down, got to look left. Do we expect this area to hold? Absolutely. Till it doesn't. And this is what till it doesn't looks like. Okay? Then we consolidate right here. Remember, we've already connected this point to this point. At the exact same angle, we connected this point to this point. So when price gets here, do we expect to consolidate? Or bounce, yes. And then when it gets down to the zone, do we expect it to consolidate or bounce? Yes. right back up, right back to where? I really hope the pieces of this jigsaw puzzle are starting. I know they're coming together beautifully for all of the passport holders and the partners, especially those who are able to hang out and spend time with us in the Telegram discussion group. I'm starting to hear things come out of people's fingers, because we type, we don't talk in there, that gives me such an incredible amount of personal satisfaction, because if I was in the middle of typing something else, that's exactly what I would have typed to explain something or to answer a question. And when I see that they're not just mimicking me or taking trades I take, they're starting to understand how the market works. They're starting to see with their own eyes the underlying rhythm of the market. And let me just say it again. If you've ever been a teacher, if you've ever taught anybody anything, if it was first grade or rocket science, when your students start to get it, take a teacher, any grade, any subject. If it's exam time, the SATs or the ACTs or whatever it is, and all of the students get the majority of the students get a lower grade, maybe they fail, and this teacher, not only is she going to get called into the principal's office, but just from a personal standpoint, where's the job satisfaction there? There isn't any. But when they all ace those exams, oh, that teacher's walking on air. And probably will get called into the principal's office anyway, but this time for a good reason. Great job. How'd you do it? Well, and each teacher, I suppose, has their own version of how they conveyed the information in such a manner that it was understandable, retainable, and could then be put to good use, whether it's math, whether it's science, whether it's history. So I said it this morning, I'll say it again in front of the whole world. I'm really proud of you guys and ladies. I've been around a lot of traders learning how to trade over the years, and I've been blessed with an exceptionally good bunch of folks, and for that I'm thankful. Good job. Okay, so from 2865 down to 2838, that's where this thing ended up. 65 minus 38 is 27 S&P points times $50 per point, $1,350 per contract traded. Does that mean the person who's earned the right to trade 10 contracts, that would be a $13,000 move? Yeah, before lunch. Whoa. Now, can't get ahead of herself though, because the key is in earning the right to trade that many contracts. In fact, with us, with CFRN, with our mentoring program and the passport, you first need to earn the right to trade one. And a lot of times people don't want to hear that. What? Sim? Well, that's, I'm a smart guy. I'm a captain of industry. I had 50 employees. When I said go, they went. And when I said come, they came. And okay. Well, okay, so given that you have that great history, do you really want to embarrass yourself here? Take some kind advice. Stay in sim till you're consistently profitable. Once you're consistently profitable, once you tell me in a mentoring session, hey, I just had my 10th consecutive day where I reached my goal in 10 trades or less, talk to me about going live. Well, see, you've earned the right to go live. You've earned the right to go live with one contract. When you go live with that one contract, I don't care how good you did in sim, you're going to be dealing with a different animal. Why? Because now there's real money on the line. And that $100 bill, because in the live training room, that's all we risk is $100 per contract per trade. if you take the wife out to dinner, nice steak dinner, drop $100, well, there's no shame in that. In fact, you kind of puff your chest out and feel real good that God has brought you to a place in life where you can go for a nice dinner, treat the wife well, buy a nice dinner, leave a nice tip for the waitress, and life's good, right? Now, when you go live and you get stopped out with one contract for 2 points on the S&P as an example, and that costs you $100, why does that make us feel so different? The expression on Ben Franklin's face never changes. Use that $100 bill to feed a starving child or build a dirty bomb, feed your wife a steak dinner, or get stopped out in the S&P. It's the same $100, and again, Ben's expression never changes. Okay, when we went into the restaurant, we knew or believed that we were going to purchase a quality dinner, a quality dinner. We were going to enjoy a nice atmosphere. And it turns out that's exactly what happened. What we anticipated, what we expected, it happened. And so we're happy to fork over that bill. With the trading, okay, when we get stopped out for 2 points, things did not go the way we thought they were going to go. We have become attached to our idea. And so when the steak dinner comes and it's cooked properly and the waitress is kind, then everything happened the way you expected. So you were right. And ooh, do we love to be right. But when you get stopped out, you're going to think, oh, I was wrong. Okay, you got to change the way you think, because you're not wrong. You identified what you believe to be a high probability opportunity for the methodology that we teach you. You executed it exactly the way we teach you to execute it, but the results of that one trade were not what you expected. So we get sad. And if we get enough of those back to back, our sad turns to mad. When we should be attaching no emotion to it whatsoever. Mark Douglas, there's nothing he's written or said that I haven't already heard at least once. But I mentioned this in Telegram today. I can tell you to listen because I am always mining a little something else out of it. And it's kind of like continuing education in real estate or other professions. It helps me stay on top of, what I want to be on top of. He used, in what I was listening to last night or this morning, he used the slot machine. Okay. Now, when we put on a trade, and I'm speaking in generalities about most traders, we put on a trade, we sit there and we hawk that thing, tick for tick for tick. If it happens to hit our target before it hits our stop loss, we're elated. We're on top of the world. Man, we finally figured it out. I must be a professional trader, right? Come on, it's true. What happens when it doesn't go that way is a completely different story. You're stupid, you're ignorant, you're never going to learn this, never get it right. Why do you always make the same mistake? That's just some of the things we say to ourselves. That's on a good day. Okay, maybe you're not a gambler, but chances are you've sat at a slot machine at some point. Now, each time you put money into that machine, pull the handle, do you freak when those little spinning dials don't come up with the 3 whatevers you need to get the big payout? No. You've attached no expectation to the outcome. When coins start to spill into the tray below, you're like, woohoo! And when it comes up, a horseshoe, a cherry, and a dingbat, you just put another quarter in or whatever it is, and you pull the handle again. I don't like using gambling analogies, but blame Mark because he taught me with those. So just use them for gambling analogies and understand that gambling thoughts, gambling words, gambling behavior can only get you one thing, and that's gambling type results. If that's what you're getting right now, boom and bust, gambling type results, the only way you're going to change that is to change your thoughts, your words, and thoughts do become words, words do become actions, and your actions become your reality. That's not psychobabble. That's just the truth. That's the truth about life. It doesn't even have to be about trading. What you think becomes what you say, becomes what you do, becomes the life you're living right now. If you want to change your life, then you got to start at the beginning by changing your thinking. And if you start thinking differently, you'll start talking differently. And if you're speaking words into existence differently, your actions will change. Oh, you get the picture, right? Okay. All right, so now, did we have an exit signal here along the way? For those who got shorted, 28.65, and I know a few. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. Now, Concierge Trade Alerts are a static report that identify the areas for this session where you want to begin thinking with a short narrative and a long narrative. Now, people say, well, but can I just get short or long at that trigger? Well, sure, it's discretionary trading. Do whatever you want. That is the number that I think opens the door to the downside, or the number that I think opens the door for the session to the upside. Do we sometimes get two-sided action? We do. More often than not, we don't. Okay? So I don't attach a hard target to the concierge, whereas with the Logic 247, I absolutely do on each and every one. But no matter whether you're in a Concierge Trade Alert move or a Logic 247 move, if it's an extended move, well, what's that? Okay. Under normal conditions, the average swing in the S&P 500 is 3 to 5 points. If you didn't know that, you might write it down, because that nugget is worth the admission to today's show. Okay? Average swing, S&P 500, 3 to 5 points. So if a move continues past the 5-point mark, and in volatile conditions like we're in, maybe 6, maybe 7, see, you get to figure it out so that you own it. If it goes more than the average swing, that becomes an extended move, right? Okay, so once you realize you're into an extended move, you want to look for an exit signal as opposed to just some random number that we threw out. Well, you know, the targets are not random numbers. There's an incredibly scientific process that goes behind them. No, seriously. I mean, there's technical reasons why I establish a target, but there's also a reason why I put trail if possible, because I know that price has the ability to sail right through any target. Okay? So on an extended move, you see this little black line. That's the step line. That's what we call it. When the step line crosses the CFMA1, now this is a down move, so we have a red CFMA1, red and falling. When the step line crosses over, that's the first heads up. And on a down move, when we have the first green candle close above, and it's on a 30-minute, close above that step line, the closing price of that candle, we call it our exit signal. We would much rather get out at an exit signal than we would a hard target, because the exit signal is usually going to be multiples of whatever that hard target was. The hard target is, as Bert would say, the simple and obvious. Okay? So the closing price of this green candle was $28.46.50. 28.46.50 exit signal. Okay. All right. So we're going to redo that math. We're going to go 65 minus 40, we'll just call it 47. Contract traded. Now, of course, many people are going to say, well, I'd rather get out here. Okay. You can get out at any price on the chart. But if you want to get out here because it was the swing low, you can only do that by accident, because we didn't know it was the swing low till well after the fact. We still don't know if it's the low of the session, but it was certainly the swing low of this move. So since we can't get out here, and on an extended move, we don't want to bail on a short-term type target. So from the entry published last night or this morning at 1:45 a.m. Eastern, okay, from the entry to the exit signal, $900 per contract traded. There's nothing nebulous about that. There's nothing about, well, some people could have got it and some couldn't. No. If you entered here and you exited here, the S&P 500 Emini Futures pays everybody $50 per point per contract traded. So am I saying that for the person who's earned the right to trade 10 contracts, that $900 move could have been a $9,000 move? Well, actually, it's a fact. If you were trading 10 contracts, and if you entered here, and if you waited for the exit signal, well, that's exactly what it paid. Okay? Past performance, no guarantee of future results. You don't know when and where the exit signal is going to print. But if you're convinced you're in an extended move and you choose to stay with that move, then all you need to know is what it looks like when it prints. And when it prints, you take your leave. Okay? All right. Now, let's have another look at this S&P 500 E-mini through a different lens. This lens will be, well, something we like to call Logic 247. Stand by. Okay. Welcome to week 42. Oh, and let's see what I got up here. Well, Valerie, thank you for putting these together. And I won't go through them all. We had some no triggers like we do. We had some stop outs. We had ones that ran at the full target, a partial target. At the end of the week, 66 alerts, 17 never triggered, which left 49 actionable, which gave us 33 that reached the final target. 5 got a PT designation. That means, what PT means is if it's a multi-target alert, it has to at least get to the first target. And if the alert only has one target, it must go at least 60% of the distance or better. Okay? 11 stopped out, 22% of actionable alerts stopped out. Okay? Now, into last night. I didn't get this posted until, now it says 11:53 on my screen because I'm on Pacific time. If you look at this same Telegram channel and you're on the East Coast, it's going to reflect the East Coast time, right? And so the East Coast time was basically 3 a.m. 2:50, it would have been 2:53 a.m. 11:53, 12, yep, 2:53 a.m. All right, so let's go find that on the chart. So that'll be the 2:30 candle right here. Okay, so it was this candle right here. Now it said to consider being long 28.70 to 28.72. Swing high was 72.25. So did it go the distance? Yes. Did it trade through by one tick? So is that a guaranteed fill? It is. And that's when the market turned down. And so I put some language in the discussion group. Hey guys, we're at a critical point here. What happens over the next few candles, 30-minute candles, is going to determine if we have a trend up or trend down day. Remember, coming into the session, the natural flow was sideways to up. It was right here that everything changed. So our passport holders were able to take advantage of this 2-point move to the upside. And then down here you'll see hedge the S&P, consider short. Now this was before the trigger. This was before the long trigger. We knew we had to hedge this thing because it's a decision point. It's going to do one or the other. We got actually two-sided action here. Consider being short 64 to 62, trail if possible. Okay, now look. Well, we know where 64 is. It's 1 point below 65, right? Right here. And then we got a target at 62, which is right here. Okay. Now, what was the swing high, this big red candle? 16.25. Okay, so it never got quite back up to the trigger. So we came through 64 down to 62, the target. Could you have just taken your profit and got out right there? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, since it fell through with such great force, you might have said, well, this just might be what he calls an extended move. Did it go more than 3 to 5 points from the trigger? What's the swing low? 55.75. Yeah, basically went about 9 points. Does that qualify as an extended move based on what I just told you a little bit ago? It does. Okay. So you might say, I'm going to stay with this one. Because we don't always get into extended moves. Sometimes we get into the average move, which on the S&P, 3 to 5 points, right? So you make the decision, I'm going to stay in. What do you have to do from here? Once you've made that decision, I believe this is going to become an extended move. I believe it already is an extended move because of the distance traveled in the first candle. So all you have to do now, your job from this point forward, is simply to wait for that. Nothing that happens on the left side of this CFMA1 matters, because you're not going to look to exit until price walks sideways, step line crosses over, and you get a green close above the step line. Okay? Question in the chat box. How do you know what the RM average swing is? Well, the same way that we know on the S&P, Mike. And let me just show you. Let me bring up a chart without a lot of stuff on it, if I have such an animal. Okay, so we'll make this a Russell. Okay, and for argument's sake, we'll just put on 5 minute right now. Not that that's incredibly important, but let's get this out of the way. Come on. There we go. Okay. Okay. Now, first we've got to decide what we're going to call a swing. Okay, what is a swing? A swing would be from an obviously significant high point. And see, I have to be careful in these areas because we talk about this and deal with this so much. It's, for Michael and I, and for many of our traders, it's just like second nature. And I have to remember that not everyone has been taught to think this way and see this way. And so if I get ahead of you, or if I say something that doesn't make sense, or you just don't understand, please speak up. And that goes to everyone in the audience about everything we ever talk about. Whoa. I heard what you said. English is my first language, but I have no clue what you're talking about. Perfect. Okay. Let's spread them out a little bit. From the high, and don't worry about getting it to the tick. These are areas. From 1543, we dropped to 1534. Okay, let me grab a notepad. That's a 9-point swing. Keep in mind that we are having some volatility right now that maybe doesn't fall under what we would call normal conditions, but that's okay. We're going to work with it because it's an average. Okay, swing low, we'll call it 1534 up to 1538. So what is that, 4? Okay. And then from 1538 down to 25, we got 13. And then from 25 back up to 30, that's 5. And from 30 down to 25, we'll call that another 5. And back up, we'll call that another 5. And then from here to here, now I see that it went, you see, no, leg, retrace, leg. But really, this is the swing. It was a multi-leg swing. How about that? All right, so we go from 29 back down to 24. I don't know, it's another 5. Okay. Seems like I've got a recurring theme here. All right, from the low to the high. Where we at? 24, 28. Is that right? Okay. It's 4. And then from 28 down to 23, that's 5. Okay, I think I've probably gone far enough because I want you to do this yourself, Mike B, and everyone else who has an interest in this, because this is valuable information and this will help you so much. If you have historic charts that go way back, you can go back to times when there wasn't so much volatility, compare it to the present. But if you keep tracking this, you know, and don't worry about maybe coming to a solid conclusion today, just let it be something that you consciously watch going forward. And then one day, somebody's going to ask you, what's the average swing in the Russell? You're going to tell them. You might even go, wow, I didn't even know I knew that yet. So if I took the numbers I just wrote down, 9, 4, 13, 5, 5, 5. Well, let's do it. Let's just 9, 4, 13, 5, 5, 5, 4, 5. Okay, 55, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Divided by 9 equals 6.1. So you do that today, and then maybe in a week you do it again, or maybe you do it every day, however you want to do it. Because this is information that if you trade the Russell, you don't want to take my word for the average swing or anybody else's. You want to do the work yourself so that whatever number you come up with, you have complete faith in it because you divined it. You came up with it. You discovered it. You can go back to your notes. If somebody says, I don't believe that, you got evidence you can take into a court of law and defend your position. No, I know what the average swing is because I counted it. You with me? Are you with me here, Mike B? Give me some feedback. Yes, okay, great. Now, some people who heard that I was about to tell you what the average swing is in the Russell got very excited because they thought I was going to tell them a secret. That I had found some, clay urn in the Gobi Desert somewhere, and I pulled out a scroll that hadn't been seen by human eyes for hundreds of years. And once I got the hieroglyphics translated, it told me about this magic number, 6.1. Now, some people would love that. Ooh-wee. But, dude, you're just like going to measure them, add them up, and divide them? Well, there's no magic there. You're getting there because there is no magic there. There's no magic in the markets. It's not. People would like you to believe it's built on hope and hype, but it's not. It's built on logic. Shameless self-plug. Right. Everything that we do, our methodology, our indicators, all steeped in logic. And because it's a 24/7 alert service, well, logic 247. I know, pretty clever. Thank you. Sounds better when you say it, though. So, if you'll say it more often, I won't have to. But it is. And it is what it is. And that's something that Michael and I do that's really a lot different than other places. A lot of places want to daze you and amaze you with their stuff. They want you to come to a seminar in Vegas and spend $7,000 to understand the magic. Only problem is, I think they're starting to figure out when you turn on the lights, everybody realizes there is no magic. It was, however. Have you ever seen a magician miss a step or miss a beat, turn the wrong way for a fraction of a second, and you see how the trick's done? Does it make you feel kind of dirty, like you want to shower? Because for a moment, for a brief moment, you believed in magic. Yeah. And now you don't. He just stole your magic. Well, I'm stealing your magic now before you waste a bunch of money on quote-unquote magic. There is no formula, mathematical equation, algorithm, indicator, oscillator, guru, or crystal ball that can tell you what's going to happen next. It's unknowable. I don't care what somebody's indicators say on the charts, how much volume is pouring through the markets at any given time. In the current video, the whole group is watching right now. The Mark Douglas position. Others start to follow suit. You get wiped out. And if you're out there trading alone, if you don't have a support system like CFRN, you might start to think you're an idiot. But you're not. You have no control over what all these people are going to do. The example I used to use was, imagine that all the traders in the world are sitting around this big round poker table, right? Everybody's got their input. They can buy, they can sell, they can do whatever they want. The only way that you could know what's going to happen next is if you could somehow read the minds of every one of those traders, put it in a blender, mix it up, extrapolate whatever the culmination of all those decisions would be, and then take action. And even if you could do that, which you can't, by the time you go to click your mouse to take action, somebody else, it's the old butterfly in the jungle thing, causes an earthquake in Seattle. If you will just, that continuous seeking for something that doesn't exist, that blinds us to the truth inherent in the markets, available for every man, woman, child, I suppose, who wants to learn how to trade. But you gotta stop listening to the noise, and you've got to start seeing what is market truths. And Michael and I firmly believe that what we teach, it's all market truths. But we don't ask you to just believe us, because we've been doing it a long time and people really like us and I have a luxurious mate. No, that's foolishness. We're going to tell you what we've defined, decided, determined to be market truths. Make sure you understand what it is that we see and believe. Then we're going to encourage you to go put it to the test. Only then can you own that knowledge. And once you own that knowledge, the only thing that can ever get in your way is yourself. Stop trying to know the unknowable. Understand what you can know. See, you can know that important prices in important areas are almost always tested. You can know what the average swing in the Russell is right now. You can know that when price approaches a weekly trading zone, only one of three things can happen. There are things you can know and things you cannot know. And almost every training methodology out there, school of thought, tries to convince you, hey, come with us. We'll show you the unknowable. Well, no, they won't. But when you understand that, and it takes some people hearing it one time, a few times. We've had people, we've been at this a long time. We've been broadcasting live since 2005. I've had people come, even just recently, but it happens all the time. Hey, I'm so-and-so. They book a mentoring session. Hey, I kind of been following you guys for X number of years. Great. Love to hear it. And while I've been following you guys, I tried this, and then I did that, and then I gave up for a while, but I had this burning itch that needed to be scratched. Penicillin wouldn't do it, so I'm back to talk to you. Well, why are you back to talk to me? Because you guys are still saying the same thing you said when I first started following you 3 years ago. Everybody else they're changing their story. They got new indicators, there's new revelations, but either you guys are right or you're just incredibly boring and not very creative. Okay. Well, stick around with an open mind, and then you get to decide which we are. Truth tellers or BS artists like everybody else out there. We give you nothing in a black box. We don't want to be mysterious. Now, see, this is the really sad part. There's a certain segment of the population, especially people who are interested in trading, that want to believe in magic. They want to believe that there's some secret out there that someday, if they work hard enough and stare at enough charts and blow up enough accounts, that they'll stumble onto that secret. And next thing you know, they'll be driving a Ferrari and wearing the fur coat. They'll be getting fitted for a gold tooth. Would you really look good in a gold tooth and a fur coat? I mean, everybody looks good in a Ferrari, right? So we're kind of the antithesis of everybody and everything else out there. Some people don't like it. Some people scoff. Oh, that's so elementary. Those guys only got like, I don't know, 2 indicators on their chart. That they got nothing like that. Oh, we don't want anything like that because it's not a truth teller. It's not a truth teller. You see, everything works some of the time. Nothing works all of the time except the underlying rhythm of the market itself. All our indicators do is to help you see that rhythm. That's all. Again, a lot of people are crestfallen. Oh, man. Well, they just make it sound like a job. It is. Showing up. That kind of takes the fun out of it. There's the fun right there. The ability to earn as much money every day as you're qualified to earn. Well, what do you mean by qualified? How do I know how much I'm qualified to earn? Glad you asked. We're going to start you out in Sim. And when you've put together 10 consecutive days in a row where you reached your goal in 10 trades or less, our 24/20 blueprint will give you the green light to go live with 1 contract. Okay, so now I'm a professional trader. Not so quick, but you're already way ahead of many people. Trade that 1 contract grounded in reason and logic, okay? Once you've increased your account balance by $2,000, 24/20 blueprint says, time to add your 2nd contract. Now that 2nd contract is underwritten by the money you just earned in the market with the 1 contract. Going forward, if you stay with the blueprint, it will tell you every time, and after the first dollar goal of 2,000, we then go in a calendar-based system. So you'll know exactly on what day you're going to add number 3, number 4, and number 5 if everything goes according to plan. And as we know with life, things don't always go according to plan. Things happen, people get sick, we go on vacations, stuff, right? Well, the beautiful thing is, if you have to put contained in that blueprint, not going to change. It's been exactly the same for years. It's truth and logic. Does that mean it's easy? No. There's no easy button in trading. Trading is not easy, but it can be simple. Alan has a question. Do you have time to do a quick overview of Crude 60-minute? I'd be happy to do that for you, Alan. Let me take a peek here. We'll use this chart. And you wanted 60 minutes. Now, might be I wasn't just preaching at you. I was preaching to the wind, right? But hopefully something in there helped you, and hopefully it helped someone else. And if anyone has a question about any of it, because I was talking to the whole group, please type it in the chat box, and I'll do my best to give you an answer. Okay. So, you said Crude, didn't you? Yes, you did. Okay. GCLN. We have rolled to the end contract. So Alan asked for a 1 hour on Crude. Here it is. Now, Alan, share with me this analysis. Would you like it to be geared to what I think is the high probability thing the rest of this session, over the next couple of days, for the week, for the month? You tell me, and I'll try to do my best job for you. Couple days, okay. If we're going to do a couple of days, let's start here, just to get a good idea. Let me show you the importance of starting here on the daily. If we insert our indicators, I just showed you guys this the other day, but now's a perfect opportunity to show it again. On the daily chart of crude, we had a bearish cross back in October of last year. We had a bullish cross January 10th of this year. So in, I don't know, what is that, 9 months or more, we've had 2 crosses. Bearish, bullish. Now, what do we expect to happen after a bullish cross? Well, we want to see price pull away on every time frame, because what we do is fluid across all markets and time frames. We know price always reverts to the mean. In this case, that's the BBC. So leg retrace. Get long for the leg, let it retrace, get long for the leg, let it retrace, long for the leg, let it retrace. Okay? All right. So let's get up here. We had a bearish cross. Okay, remember we had in October a bearish cross, in January a bullish cross, and on May 6th we got a bearish cross. Price did pull away. Price did pull back to physically touch right here. Spiked it pretty good. Gave us a down close. Now that close was at 61.01. We want to sell the next guy, because here's the touch, here's the down close. We want to get short, but at what price? Now on the range chart, my wording would be sell the open of the next candle minus 1 tick. That's because on the range chart, the closing price of a candle and the opening price of the next candle are identical, which can be a little confusing. So that's why it's always with me plus or minus 1 tick. So let's blow this up for a sec. So the low was, on this day, the close was 61.01. The low was 60.81. We open higher the next day. We open at 61.06 because these are time-based charts, okay? Daily time-based chart. So it doesn't have that little quirk that the range chart has. The low was 60.87. This candle opened here, above the close of the previous day, well above the low of the previous day. So do we just want to blindly sell the open of that candle? I mean, get this thing down, but buyers stepped in at this price. Well, you see what happened. They moved it higher. So in order for me to partake in this down move, I at least want to get, and I don't have to wait for a close, because this is a daily chart. A smaller time frame, you could wait for a close. So I wouldn't wait for a close of this daily candle necessarily, but I would want to see price convincingly trade below the low of this candle. That never happened, okay? So in my eyes, we never got a signal to be short here. Good thing, because price continued up, and up the next day, and up the next day. Now, price is approaching the BBC from below. When price approaches the BBC from below, we expect it to be good resistance until proven otherwise. Let's back up a second over here. You see, when price pulls back to the BBC from above, we expect it to be good support, good support, good support, good support, good support. Okay? Does it spike it occasionally? It does. Can it even close above it without changing the narrative? It can, and that's what's happening right here. So this is why this is important that we look at this daily. Okay? we pull back to the BBC. We had a bullish close that day. The next day, we had a red candle. Another red candle. Never go long on a red candle. Never go short on a green candle. It just doesn't make sense, and I'm sure everyone would agree. Okay, so right here, we do not have a high probability trade setup. The market is seeking direction. It's trying to determine what its next move is going to be. Now, as traders, we're taught to look to the market. Well, some people are taught to look to all kind of crazy things. But we're taught to look at the chart to determine what the next high probability move is going to be. When we see that the market itself is still checking, we got to put it on hold, put it on pause, take a day off, pet the dog, make a sandwich, go look at a different market until the market itself determines what it wants to do next. And that will be evident, okay? This next day, same thing. There's no high probability from here. If this red candle closes today back below the BBC, now we got something to work with, okay? We had a bearish cross. Price pulled back to physically touch. We can go anywhere. Pulled back again to physically touch, but never gave us a session. If price trades below the low of this candle, now again, we're saying if it closes below, and then the new daily candle, which will start at 6 p.m. Eastern tonight, if it trades below the low of this candle, which could be down here somewhere, we have a window of opportunity down to the CFMA1. So how much room are we talking? Well, again, it depends. Right now, the low of this candle is 62.60. Where's the CFMA1? 61.80. The distance between, without too much difficulty, however, this can potentially provide good support. It's blue and climbing. Now, is this little buddy down here blue and climbing? No. This is about as bearish as you can get on the daily. You see how this thing is just red and buried? Okay. Now, if this was also blue and climbing, I would really expect this to be good support. So going in, I'm just going to accept the fact that whatever the low of today's candle is, if tomorrow's candle gets below it, I got a little sliver of opportunity down to the CFMA1. Now, I can choose what I want to do there. If I think it's going to be good support and I've made some profits, I might just take that and wait to see if tomorrow's candle can close below here. Because if it can, then we may have something going on and we may be up for another nice leg to the downside. Now, this leg here went from 66.40 to 60.20. It's over $4. It's a $4 move. So let's say price does end up down here, 61.40. A measured move would take us to 57.40. And a measured move means it goes the distance here. Okay. In fact, I'll show you a projection of the swing high to the swing low to the retracement high. Now, this is the retracement high so far. Okay. The high, the low of the leg, right here, the retracement high. Now, this doesn't take into Iran or any other kind of fundamental things. This is pure Fibonacci math. Fibonacci says that if we duplicate this leg, it would put price down here at about 57.80. Quite a move. Well, but maybe we don't go all the way there. Perhaps, you see the 38 is right at the CFMA1. So you see how that little sliver right there is a window of opportunity? It might be points for a day, points for a week, and that could turn into something far more significant. And these swing lows here, beautiful place for the market to find support. It's also the 50% Fib price extension. This low here is the 62, another great place for the market to find support. And then this would be the measured move. Same distance in both places. Now let's scrunch this up. Okay. Do a lot of scrunching here. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to take the Fib retracement tool. I'm going to go from this low back in December to the recent high. So what I want to see is there's the, now from the low to the high, here's the 24% Fib retracement. From this low to this high. Next is the 38% Fib retracement. You see that little line right there? Okay, you can see where the 38 is. Now I'll make the 38 go away. I made the other one go away. But I think you saw what I was hoping you saw, and that is the measured move, the price extension, measured move, puts us at the exact same area on the chart as the 38% Fib retracement. So you've got a price projection up here, you've got a retracement level here. Those two line up together. That is very powerful. It's called confluence, congruence. Some of us just call it "Oh Happy Day." Anyway, so what's this number? We'll call it 57.90. You know what? Call it $58. All right, so $58. Let me show you how to do the extension one more time. 58 from the high to the low to the retracement high. Measured move. 57.60. An area, right? Okay. Now, I hope everybody wrote those numbers down, because I'm gonna take this chart down, and I'm not gonna take it down. We're gonna go to a smaller time frame. Let me get my key numbers. Really, I think the only one I want to be truly concerned with. Well, here, let's do this. And by the way, if you didn't catch all of this, the radio show each day gets posted to youtube.com/CFRN. It's rendered and ready for viewing about an hour after the show. Okay? All right. So if we get this window of opportunity down to the 38, I'm going to call that 61.50. So that's going to be important. These lows right here line up with the 50% retracement, 60.80. The 62 lines up beautifully with this swing low, $60. And then down here, I think we said we were just going to call this 58, okay? Because that was the measured move, projected low. And hang on, I really want you, this is well, let me just say, people pay good money to learn this stuff. And being able to share it with members of the community so that you can see what we're doing behind these closed doors, so that you can make an intelligent decision whether or not this is right for you. What a great thing. I don't have to trick you into joining up, or I don't have to trick you into buying something. I can show you what we do, how we do it, and then you get to decide if you want to be a part of it or not. Man. We're not Buddhist. I think you probably gathered that from the name. But there is something in Buddhism, and I don't know if you've studied world religions. If you haven't, I'm not saying don't be a Christian, don't question your faith. I'm not saying that. I'm saying understanding what other groups of people around the world think might help you better witness to them for Christ, okay? But every world religion that I've studied, for that reason, really, I've found some incredible truths, some kernels, some nuggets that seem to be a common thread through most world religions, except the stupid stuff like Satanism. All right. 6150, 6080, $60, and then this 38% Fib retracement and the measured move we're going to call $58. Okay. Now, he asked me to look at it on an hourly chart. I just burned up a half hour showing it to you on the daily chart. I hope both you, Alan, and everyone else who is watching and listening to this, when we go to this next chart, I hope you'll see and understand why it was important and why I spent so much time on it. Okay? Let's go to an hourly. Okay. Okay. Where's price in relation to the BBC? It's actually above it. Now, we have a rule. If price is above the BBC, we anticipate higher prices until price is no longer above the BBC. If price is below the BBC, we anticipate lower prices until it's no longer below. Okay? Now that's important, but this dynamic here, we had a bearish cross, price pulled back and spiked and spiked. In my mind's eye, I can see this red candle closing lower today. Doesn't mean it will. Okay? That's just my narrative for now. It's how I understand. It's my logical application that allows me to understand what's transpiring in the market right now, at least on a level that I can understand. There's people with greater levels of understanding that understand different things. If they make a good trade today, they're not going to share any money with me, most likely. So I have to understand it to the best of my ability, all right? So knowing that above the BBC, we expect higher prices, I haven't forgot about the bearish cross. When I look in the rearview mirror, the last thing I see is a bearish cross. If we get a bullish cross, then all of what I'm about to say is going to change. But for right now, I'm still looking for a move down. This green candle had me questioning it, but this red candle and this red candle, price is trying to get back below the BBC. So we're above right now. We got a red candle. Do I want to go long? I don't. Okay. I want to wait and see how this plays out. Okay. Because the reason I went here was because if we picked any of these spots over here, I would have said I only want to consider the long side. Now, I showed you the leg and the retracement. I want to be long the leg. I want to be flat the retracement. Long the leg, flat the retracement. Long the leg, flat the retracement, because we're above. When we're below, I want to be short the leg, flat the retracement, short the leg, flat the retracement, because this can happen. Okay? All right. So for now, we're looking for a concurrent price, 62.92, I guess. Yeah, about right. All right. So what happened here? All right. Well, we were trending up. We had a leg and a retracement, which led to a higher high, a leg, and a retracement, which led to a higher low and a higher high. And then right here, you see what happened here? Okay, high, higher high, higher high, lower high. And you say, but wait, price did go on to put in a higher high. It did. So what this is just an early warning sign, sort of a chink in the armor, if you will, telling me that on this hourly chart, I'm starting to see signs that the market may turn down. It's not carved in stone. In fact, as price pulls back to the BBC here, puts in this leg, I have to say, okay, it's not done yet. I want to be flat the retracement, long the leg. Here comes another retracement. Now look what this retracement does. It takes us right through. This did not hold. The pullback, in a trending market, the pullback holds, right? In a non-trending market, it won't. Okay? Are we trend traders or counter trend traders? What I teach you is trend trading. Could I teach you counter trend? Well, I could, but I don't want to teach you something that I don't do myself. All right? So this pullback didn't hold. This pullback didn't hold. So what does that really tell us? We should be flat this market until it sorts itself out. What we have up here is called a transition. That's what I call it. Because the market is trying to transition itself from an uptrend to a downtrend. Do we have V-tops and V-bottoms? Sometimes. But more often than not, if you've got an established trend in either direction, as that big old battleship tries to turn, that aircraft carrier tries to turn in the water, it takes about 4 hours for an aircraft carrier to turn from due north to due south without slinging people all over the place, right? So this is a big ship, crude oil. Price is below, then above, then below, then above. You see over here how price stayed above the BBC? Below and above, below and above, below and above. That's a market seeking direction. Could it actually put in a powerful leg, hold the retracement, and go on to put in new highs? Sure. But if we're already trending up and now we're in a transition, the high probability is that we're going to turn to the downside. So based on what I saw on the daily chart and what I'm seeing on the hourly chart, I'm certainly not going to be looking for any long trades here. What I want to see is a leg after the bearish cross. I would say consider being short 62.50. Now, remember the highest, that list of numbers that we just made, I hope you wrote them down on the daily chart. The highest number was 61.50. This number's 62.50. I might put intermediate targets on the way down, but my final target here, based on the work we just did together and the work that you can go back and watch on YouTube, and if you come back 3 months, 6 months, 5 years from now, you'll see me do the exact same thing using the exact same process. Facts change, but truth never does. What I'm teaching you here is a market truth. Okay, so from 62.50 down to 61.50, that's $1. Okay, now look over here. This is important. My traders will understand this. You see where that bullish cross happened? It's important. Okay, I won't go into all the details now. Just this is an area for potentially good support. It happened at a price of about 61.70. If I want to be conservative, I might bump this up to 61.70, but for this purpose, I'm just going to leave it here at 61.50. This is a $1 move if we trigger in. A $1 move in crude pays you, the trader, $1,000 per contract traded. A $1 move in gold pays $100 per contract because gold only has 10 $10 ticks to the dollar. Okay. Crude, on the other hand, has 100. Think of it as pennies to the dollar. Crude has 100 ticks to a dollar. So this is a $1,000 move. Okay. Now, And that just takes us down to the first number we had on our list, 6150. The next number down on our list was 6080. Let me scrunch this up a little bit. 6080. I look over here and I see these lows. I might want to come up a little bit above that. Even though I got 68 on my other paper, I'm taking a closer look here. And I want to embrace the structure of the market here. So from potentially from 6150 to 6080, no, I'm sorry, from 6250 to 6150 to 6080-ish, okay? The next number we had on that daily chart was 60 bucks. And the measured move, remember the measured move and how feasible that looked on the daily. Come on, 58. Okay. All right. Now let me shrink it down, scrunch it up. Cool. Is that all you're going to give me? Okay, that's fine. All right, trigger, target, target. Now, you see that? And you see where where our math put us? Our math put us here. The structure of the market puts us here. So what am I going to do with this? You don't have to make the sound effects. You can just move it, right? Right there. I want to be a little above this low. Just like right here, I want to be a little bit above that low. This is already above that low. And again, here's our trigger. Now, this is a based upon our understanding of the market, which for us is truth. It cannot be truth for you until you own it. And by owning it, I don't mean paying us to become a passport holder. I mean, well, first you would have to do that. Then you can learn the methodology. Then you can have the indicators. Then you can put it through its paces. And then you can, convince yourself that it's a truth or not. Okay? From 60 to 50 to 59. Okay, 62 to 59. So what is that? That's a $3,000 per contract move, right? Okay. Now, just don't want to give me any. Okay. Now these lows here look pretty important, right? They're at 58.80. Now this math number put us down here at 58. The measured move put us at 58. Do we always get a measured move? No. Is it enough of a thing that we even talk about it? Yes. So now that I have my math in place, just like I positioned this here, because of this and this here, I'm sure you all know what I'm about to do with the measured move. I'm going to bump it up to 58.80-ish, and I'm going to feel a lot more comfortable than if I got it just hanging out down here. Not that it can't go there, we just showed you how it can go there. So now we're talking 62.50 to 59. So that's still 25 from here to here, $2,500 per contract. If this is what's going to unfold, it will probably take a couple days, and that's what you were looking for, Alan, was a couple day idea of what the market can do. If it comes to here, does that mean it's going to go here? No. It's certainly on the way. It's on the path, right? Now, if you believe important prices, important areas are almost always tested, raise your hand. Okay, I see those hands. No, I'm just kidding. So what if price comes down? Okay, we got this in at 61.50. If this comes down to 61.60, turns around and races back up to the trigger, where will you throw up? No, I'm kidding. But that's how you feel, right? We feel like we've been robbed. Oh my, I'm such an idiot. I had all that money on the table. Now look at me. I'm underwater. Okay, well, hang on. If you truly believe that important prices and important areas are almost always tested, when this thing gets anywhere near this target, don't be surprised when it comes back up here. Expect it. Expect it? Well, at least be prepared for it so that you don't throw up, or if you do throw up, you got to get a can handy, right? Okay, so you're saying I got to watch it give me $1,000 per contract profit, and then I got to watch it all evaporate? No, I didn't say that. If you're trading multiple contracts, one way of handling it, let's say you're trading 9, okay? Here you could get rid of 3. That leaves you with 6. Comes back up here, gets above the trigger, comes down again. If you've got 9 to work with, that's great. If you got 30 to work with, perhaps even better. But don't get ahead of yourself. Remember, you got to earn the right to trade every one of those contracts. Okay? So as price approaches this target, let's just say it does, because I'm telling you and showing you, and hopefully you will soon own this information. Not on a passport, but on the information that I'm freely giving you. Okay? High probability price is going to come back up here. Because when price comes back to test that important area, and we weren't in on the first leg, and we catch the second, we feel oh so clever. But when we've got a trade, well, man, I made $1,000 today. And then you just pop in on Globex to take a look at the market. What? You were bragging to everybody about this, but who are you going to brag to about that? Probably nobody, right? Okay. So how are we going to deal with this? Could we just take profit here? Wait for it to come back? Ride that ride again? Could. Just know that when you take profit here, if you do, there's no guarantee it's going to come back here. But I don't know how long any of you, it's an individual thing, have been with this show, but just ask yourself this. How many times have I heard that guy say important prices, important areas are almost, and how do I know that's even an important area? Because it's the trigger. Pretty important. The trigger is always more important than the target. Now, some will tell you, don't spend so much time learning how to get in the market, learn how to get out. I just got finished explaining earlier that we would much rather get out at an exit signal than a hard target, but we can only do that if the market hands us an extended move. Okay? Now, I don't want to keep talking and confuse the whole thing because I think I made it semi-clear. Here's what I would encourage any of you to do, because I got a dash. And I really hope this helps you, Alan. I really do. And I see a couple of the questions. I'll hit those before I go. And I only had a chance to recap the S&P. We had a beautiful, beautiful Globex session, which carried into the day session. I will get them all recapped for you, hopefully with some charts, and then we can maybe go into more detail tomorrow. But those of you who've been watching this crude dissertation, and you find it interesting, you find it of value, you think it could help you, watch it again on YouTube about an hour after I sign off. And as you watch it the second time, write down questions, okay? And what I will do, based on my schedule tomorrow, as far as mentoring sessions go, if one of my slots is open, I'll hold a group meeting so that anybody who is listening to this and watching this can come. I'll open up, if there's not too many people, I'll open up everybody's mic, and instead of tippy typing, we'll have a discussion about all this, And if there's some part of it you didn't quite understand, I'll try to make it a little more clear for you. And then, of course, when we're done, I'll lay a hard close on you and try to sell you a passport at some ridiculously discounted price. No, I won't do that. The door's always open. If you want a passport, you know where to get it. I'll never try to force one on you or trick you into one or slick willy you into one. If you can't see what we're doing and appreciate it for what it is without any spin or fluff, well, then it's just not for you. Doesn't mean we can't be friends and hang out together. Love God, love people, love life, right? If you want to be on the inside looking out instead of the outside looking in, well, we'd love to have you. Make no mistake about that. Okay. Let's do a question. So watch it this afternoon. Make notes. And if some of you tomorrow on the radio go, hey, I want to be in that meeting, well, then we'll have that meeting if I have an open slot. If I don't have one open tomorrow, we'll do it Wednesday. And maybe Valerie can check my schedule and see if there's an opening tomorrow. All right, down to Brad. Which time frame do you usually use on your signals? 30 minutes, 1 hour, 1 day? Brad, when I post a chart or work with a chart here on the show, it's always a 30-minute, not because it's magic. It's just the one I use. You got to pick one. Just pick one and stick with it. If I'm using something else, I'll always try to remember to say, hey, this is a 5-minute, or this is an hourly, or daily, whatever the case might be, okay? But my go-to chart, I usually start with a 30. But when somebody's asking me for a couple, what do I think will happen over the next couple of days, then I'm going to bump it to a daily first, and then work my way down, okay? All right.
And the first availability you have would be Wednesday.
Okay, and what time?
That would be the early. That would be the 4 o'clock Eastern.
Okay, would you book that for anybody that might want to dig into this a little more?
It will do.
If you're a passport holder, you're welcome. Partner, welcome. Stranger in the night, you're welcome too. Anybody, okay? I'll share with you, try to explain it to you, and then I'll close you. Now, I got heavy artillery. Val will be in at the end to close you. All right. So there. No, I'm not gonna. You guys know me. I don't try to push stuff on you, and I don't tell you how I've only got 2 left. And that's just. I wouldn't want to insult you that way. Sometimes I've been to webinars in the past where, did they really think I'm this stupid, or naive, or country bumpkin? I mean, I will always treat you with dignity and respect. I only ask one thing in return, that you treat me the same. If you don't like me, if you don't agree with me, that's okay. I may not like or agree with you, but I'm going to still treat you with dignity and respect. And we can all get along real good, as we have since 2005. We have an amazing thing here. Whether you're on the inside or you're just part of the community at large, we have a great group of people. Every now and then some troublemaker comes along, says a few rude things, and when we don't strike back, well, there's no fun in that for them, so they just go on down the road and pester somebody else. Kill them with kindness, as they say. Except you don't want to really kill them. Nor do you want to pray for them just so God will dump fire coals on their head. That's scriptural too. You get my point. All right, guys. Joan, thank you for your kind comment. You're gone. I'll thank you tomorrow. Or Val, maybe you can send her a thank you card. No, I'm just kidding. All right. I'm going to have to wrap it up here, guys. I do want to recap the other alerts from last night. Not to brag or boast. Okay, maybe a little. No, I just want to show you that we had some great opportunity. And it's not about us being smart and clever. The only thing we're smart and clever about is we recognize opportunity. And when there is not opportunity, we know how to stay out. We know how to recognize it so we can stay out until opportunity returns. And that's real important, okay? Knowing when not to trade. Just because it's market hours, just because Globex is open, doesn't mean you should be trading. When you got when it looks like the EKG machine or whatever the thing is in the hospital room, no. That's not the best place to be. Now, inside of a range, if there's a large enough range, can you trade from the low to the high and back up from the high to the low and back up? Yeah, you can. There'll even be a little bit of this here. But you see, we're going to work with a specific dynamic. And as this comes through, I'll make sure you know that we have what I consider an official trigger. Just because price comes down through here, could that be a trigger? Could. Does it have to be? Could there be more? Could I show you something else that would help confirm that this is a good entry spot as it happens? Yeah, but I can't do it until we reach the point where it's as it happens. Okay? Thanks for the question. I really appreciate that, Alan. As you can see, guys, I am passionate about what we do. I mean, I actually believe in it. And I know what it's like to struggle to just try to get on the... I remember praying, God, could I just get on the right side of, one trade? Just once? I mean, I went through dark times, as we all do, trying to figure this mess out. I mean, there was a period of time, if I went short, the market went long. And I even tried tricking the market. I would say out loud, well, here, I only want to go short, and I would click my mouse and go long. Yeah, he'd nail me that way too. If you're caught up in that kind of a death spiral, you can snap out of it. You're not cursed. You're not bad. You're not stupid. You just haven't had someone maybe show you a better way, or at least a way that has worked for them and many others, and it could work for you. That's why we always let you, whatever we're doing, you get to poke the pig. We don't say a pig and a poke. We let you poke the pig first. I think that's how it goes. In other words, we'll let you take a look. We let you get your hands dirty. You can use the indicators, watch some of the alerts in real time so that you can determine what's right for you. We got a guy that's been with us for years, and I had a mentoring session with him the other day, and it just kind of broke my heart. He's retired, and he wants to supplement his income, and he's done his due diligence, so to speak, as far as, learning things about trading and what candles are and different things. He was ready to make a decision to finally begin, his trading education. He'd been watching it kind of at a distance for a while. And it was between us and this other outfit, I won't call their name. But they got a whole lot of sizzle on their steak. You can call it anything you want. I'll be nice and just call it, They made it sound like you can't lose, blah, blah, blah. You can make this much a month, and, all the stuff that we refuse to say. Number one, I like sleeping at night, and someday I hope to look God in the face. So I can't twist things the way, because they make it sound very exciting. If I had been him and had just, a modicum of understanding as to what this whole trading business is about. And of course, he's never seen the seamy underbelly. Well, he has now. They cleaned his clock for 20 grand. And then they sold the paper. They financed it and sold the paper. So he can't get a refund from them because he don't owe them. He owes what's now become a collection company. 20 grand to figure out their core method of support and resistance. And when I had the mentor session, he said, Dwayne, I've tried to get out of this thing. I want to go with you guys so bad. He goes, now I've seen what you used to talk about. He goes, man, they got me. I said, well, let's get you out. And he goes, I can't. He goes, I'm with fixed income. I've called the company that bought the paper, the contract. And they say they'll sue me. They'll take everything I got if I don't pay them. I said, well, have you complained to the company that sold you the stuff? He goes, yeah. I go, well, what did they do? He goes, they sent me another PDF. This is what he got for his 20 grand. A PDF. If I was there that day when I come off that mentoring session, I was foaming at the mouth. I was so angry. Not because I didn't get to make a sale. Okay, maybe that's part of it. Let's be honest. But I was really aggravated. They would take advantage of somebody like this. And then when he comes and explains to them, this is, how does this help me? They won't even talk to him about it. Send him another PDF. Oh, well, we got another course that sells for X, but we're going to give it to you for free. Wow. That's wrong. And it's out there. And they'll get you too if you're not careful. I'm not saying you got to get an education with us. I'm not saying we're the only honest people on the planet. We're not. But we're the only ones I can vouch for. Because I got the keys and I signed the checks. I can vouch for us. I can't vouch for anybody else. If you do go somewhere else for an education, ask the hard questions. And if the answers don't add up, keep looking. Because there's lots of people out there. You're bound to find somebody that will give you a fair shake for your money. I can promise you this, no one will try harder than we do. You can take that at the bank. I can defend that in a court of law. Nobody on planet Earth will try harder than we do. Okay, enough about me, enough about him. Let's talk about God. The things of God. On Friday, we talked about being there in a crisis. When someone that you call friend or they call you friend. Remember, he's broke down on the freeway, rush hour traffic. You're your lazy boy, you just popped a cold one, put the game on. Galatians 6:2, offer each other a helping hand. Your aim as a believer, as a Christian, as a follower of Christ, should be to help people cope with their crisis, whatever it is, and to grow through the crisis, to grow from the experience. Now, understand that life teaches us all these lessons. It's kind of like we go to a class to learn the lesson. So when something happens in your life, some kind of circumstance, some kind of thing, that's the class. And if you end up doing the right thing, you graduate and get to go to the next class, right? But if you don't get it, the universe will force you to repeat the class. How many times have you said or heard someone say, why does this keep happening to me? Because you refuse to learn the lesson. Or you need somebody to help you understand the lesson. You might need a tutor, right? You will keep whatever that thing is, it will keep happening to you till you learn the lesson. God gives the instructor the nod, and you get to move up to the next class, where the lesson is usually a little tougher. But once you understand it, that this is how it works, then you're always as soon as a situation arises, instead of acting like we as humans want to act, you immediately turn to God and go, okay, this is not pretty. You're trying to show me something, teach me something. Please help me learn. That's the job of the Holy Spirit. You know that. I don't have to tell you that. But maybe I do. Maybe we all need to be told these things. Maybe that's why I still listen to Mark. I've read and heard every word that ever came out of his pen, his keyboard, or his mouth. Why do I keep listening to it? Because there's truth there. And truth will set you free. Your aim should be to help people cope with their crisis and grow through it. This means lowering their fear level and helping them to function normally again. Now, when people are going through a crisis, whether it's the loss of a loved one or any number of other things, fear, which is one of the greatest tools of the enemy, The most quoted scripture in the Bible is fear not. I haven't personally counted them, but I've been told from a lot of different sources, fear not is the most oft-repeated phrase in the Bible. So if that's the case, put two and two together, read between the lines. One of the greatest tools the enemy has is fear. Have you ever been at a point in your life where you're afraid to answer the phone? Afraid to open the mail? Somebody knocks at the door and your innocent child goes, I'll get it, Daddy. And you're like, no, open the door, don't open the door. Really? Maybe not all of us have lived through those times in our life, but I know many of us have. And it's bad, right? So I got good news. Jesus says, fear not. His Father says, fear not. The Holy Spirit stands ready right now to help you. Fear not. All right, so how are we going to help people? Now, this is sort of like, I have a friend with this problem, okay? So I'm going to teach you how to help your friends here, but maybe it might help you too. It might help me. Remember, preachers are always preaching to themselves. Number one, point of contact. Make contact. When they call, answer the phone. If you know they're going through a crisis and they haven't called, they're either too ashamed or too afraid, whatever. Are you a true friend? Pick up the phone. If they don't answer, go knock on the door. Climbing in their back window, that's like a last resort, okay? Seriously. But make sure they know that you know they're going through something and you're not there to judge them. Furthest thing from it, you're there to help. A shoulder to cry on, words of wisdom, or whatever. It's going to depend upon what their crisis is, all right? And you're going to need the Holy Spirit to help you figure out what to say to them, and then they're going to need the Holy Spirit to take the words that you've given them and put it into action in their life. So you may have to make the first move. Show them understanding and genuine interest, not judgment, condemnation. You don't have to be a professional, but also be aware that don't start giving people advice. Don't write checks your backside can't cash. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to be Dr. Phil. He's got some training. He doesn't have a medical license, but he has some training. So stay within your wheelhouse. God will give you what you need in your wheelhouse through the Holy Spirit, that you don't end up on the wrong side of a lawsuit. You don't have to be a professional. 2 simple steps can make a big difference. Listen attentively to their concerns and perceptions and maintain eye contact. Sounds silly? Most people, when they're ashamed and afraid, they tend to look down, they tend to look away. Gently, with love. Get them to look at you. Sometimes you just got to say, Bill, look at me. Get their attention. There's power in that. Next time you go to the convenience store. Now, I'm sure you're very polite when you go to the convenience store. You bring your purchase to the counter. Hey, how you doing? You have a nice day, right? How about put your stuff on the counter and say, hi, how you doing? But then actually look at the person, look them in the eye, and wait for their response. And let them, because they'll pick up right away. Oh, they'll know that you are actually concerned about them or how their day's going or whatever it is. It's called being here now. And if you want to see people's demeanor change in the twinkling of an eye, try being here now. Don't talk at them. We're good at that. Try talking to them. I bet you the next time you come through those doors, that person, they're going to know your name. They're going to come around the counter, see how they can help you. It's relationship. We are one body with many parts. Well, he's not part of my body. I don't even think he believes in God. Oh. Well, wait a minute. What were we called to do? What's the Great Commission? It's not, by the way, it's not to get them to recite some incantation at the altar so you can put another hash mark on your Bible. Jesus never said anything about that. How did we get that so wrong? He said, go make disciples of men. Have I ever led people to Christ? Sure. Do I have some people I've been discipling over 20 years? Yes. Have I got them to that point yet where they know where the well is? No. It's kind of for some, some people you can disciple them over a period of weeks, months, year. Other people that God puts in your life, it becomes like a life's work. But it's worth it. It's worth it because Jesus asked you to do it. Okay. Now, listen attentively to their concerns, perceptions. Like I said, maintain this eye contact. And when I say listen, really listen. Because often when somebody starts to tell us their problem, we immediately we turn our head, roll our eyes, and go, oh my God. He thinks that's a problem? He should see my problems. Now I got some problems. No, don't be like that. See, their feelings, whatever they are valid to them. They are real to them. It may seem just like a bunch of hooey. Oh my gosh, how did you get all twisted up over this? Well, the point is they are. You're there to help, remember? Not judge. All right. If you can do those two things, really listen without judging, maintain eye contact, they will feel valued, they will feel understood, and you're well on your way to helping that person through their crisis, whatever it is. Number two, just three things. Here's number two. Help reduce their anxiety. A calming presence can lower their stress. If they're freaked out, you listen to their story and you get all freaked out. Well, now who's going to save us, right? No. You got to be the voice of reason. If God, if the Holy Spirit sent you there to help this brother or sister through the crisis. Encourage them to speak freely about their concerns and offer them hope, because there's always hope. As an example, say something like, well, there are ways to deal with this situation. I know it seems dark. I know it seems bleak. But I've been through this. I know people who've been through this. Or just simply, we have this eternal hope in Christ. And there's nothing that you and him can't overcome together. You with me? Chances are that this person going through this crisis, their outlook has become distorted. They are no longer seeing things clearly. They've probably become pessimistic. Gently suggest another way of looking at the situation. You might say something as simple as, may I suggest another way of looking at this? See, that's not judgy. That's not condemning. Whenever possible, give them hope for the future. You know, Bill, I realize it's tough right now, but with God's help, I truly believe you can handle this. Not lip service. If you don't believe that, then don't say it. If you don't believe it, then go see whoever your spiritual mentor is so that they can help you see it. Okay? Then give them a Bible promise. something to back it up. Maybe Jeremiah 33:3. I'll let you look that up. Okay, third and final thing. Focus on the real issues. Okay? I can't tell you how many times my wife and I, over the years, 36, it's happened once or twice, we get into an argument, a tiff, whatever they call it. And we will get so spun out with our personalities and all, and I don't even remember what we're arguing about. I don't remember what the actual crisis was that started this whole thing. Focus on the real issue. The person you're speaking to, they probably are no longer dealing with the actual reality of the situation. There are times when my wife will be upset with me about something, and I'm sure it goes both ways, and she'll get on me about this and get on me about this, and it's like there's some kind of laundry list, boxes getting ticked, and I just go, whoa, hang on, honey. Look, what's really going on? I mean, tell me what you're really upset about. You told me I don't pick my clothes up, I left the bread open, I forgot to take out the trash. What's really going on? Turns out it's because I wouldn't go with her to the baby shower last Saturday. Now, that's a ridiculous example, but I hope it gets my point across. And I can't tell her she's stupid for feeling that way, because she feels that way. They're her feelings. They're valid just from that respect. So I have to address it that way. Okay. See, the confused mind, the mind in crises, becomes overwhelmed just by the sheer noise of it all. And our human mind just looks at the darkest possible outcome. It just seems to be, and we can retrain our mind to not see the negative in everything, but to see the positive. Well, that's another discussion. By offering them assistance in deciding what issues are real and which ones aren't. Now, don't invalidate their feelings. Just try to help them understand, or at least understand what's important, what can be dealt with. See, sometimes there's a situation you can't do anything about. But more often than not, you may not be able to resolve the situation today, but you can do something. You can start to chip away at that thing. And the more you chip away and the more small things you do, the smaller that big problem is. Help them figure out what to tackle first. They're overwhelmed. What problems need to be solved right away, and what problems can be solved right away? Get a notepad. Make some columns. Write it down. Sometimes we take the noise out of our head, put it on a legal pad in black and white. It starts to actually make sense. And all these feelings and emotions that are now on the written page, we can start to stratify them into columns. We can have headings and subheadings. We can do something about this. We got to turn this over to God. That's the reality of the situation. So we make the phone calls that we got to make together to deal with what we can deal with, and the stuff we can't deal with, guess who can? That's right. Brother, let's pray together. Let me read this scripture, this promise of God. Let's me and you pray before I go. You know what I'm telling you. You feel it in your spirit right now. It's how we all need to behave. And remember, the only reason I'm really doing this is because I need to hear it. I need to make sure it's how I'm functioning as a believer. Rather than discuss with them the past or worry about the future. I mean, don't buy into their bitterness, their anger, their distress, their hysteria. Don't become a part of the problem. Remember, you came in love as a Christian brother or sister to help alleviate this crisis, not make it worse. Don't talk about the past. Don't even talk about the future. Concentrate on the present and help them take the action necessary to lessen their anxiety and empower them to move beyond this. And if, by the power of the Holy Spirit, you can get them from where they are now to that place, guess what you just did? You discipled someone. And when we do what Jesus called us to do in discipling others, if we disciple them, not on the Dr. Phil stuff, I'm not knocking Dr. Phil, but on stuff that's scripturally based, if that's what we use as our textbook, if you will, if that's where we go to get the answers, you can't go to there to get the number to the credit counseling service, but you can go there to get the answer that tells you that's probably what needs to be done in this situation. Now, you won't always read it all on the printed page, but if you read the scripture that pertains to the situation, it will put you in a frame of mind where as you begin to pray, it's because you're on a different wavelength now. Because the Holy Spirit, that book, it's alive. You know that. Get a little bit of inside you. And as you and this person begin to pray together, there will be revelation. Let go and let God. Don't try to micromanage everything. So, brother, it's we made the phone call. Okay, they're gonna get back with us tomorrow. We got these 2 papers notarized. You know what the best thing we can do right now? We can thank God for giving us the clarity of thought to get this done. And then let him show us in prayer what the next step is. We can do this. You and I, this body of believers, we can do this. God asked us to do it, gave us a book that shows us how to do it. May I encourage you, let's do it. That's our good word for the day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell. Okay, you probably wondering where that outro is. I still got this Dr. Tom issue with my mouse. Dr. Tom, I want to send you a bill. All right, well, if the outro were playing, you know what it would say, right? It's not your first rodeo, right? All right. Now, it's really starting to be a sense of frustration and aggravation.
To take a 1-week free trial in
Now
our
that it's
live
over,
training,
enjoy.
call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.